Lives of Saint Cedd, Bishop of Essex, and Diuma, Bishop of Mercia and Enlightener of Middle Anglia. Our Holy Father Cedd, together with his brothers Saint Chad, Chenabel, and Chelin, were Anglian boys educated at Lindisfarne by Saints Aidan and Finan. In 653, Saint Finan baptized Peada, King of Middle Anglia, at the king's village of Walbottle at Hadrian's Wall in Northumberland. The king returned full of joy, and 4 Northumbrian priests, one of whom was Cedd. The others were Saint Diuma, Betty, and Ada. The apostolic work of these 4 men was very successful. However, King Oswy of Northumbria, who became overlord of Mercia after King Peada's death, then decided to send Saint Cedd to the kingdom of East Saxons, which had reverted to paganism after the death of King Sebert and the expulsion of Saint Mellitus, Bishop of London, earlier in the century. And so, with the blessing of Saint Finan, Cedd and another priest set off to re-evangelize the land, whose king, Sigebert, had just been baptized. This mission, too, was very successful, and soon Saint Finan consecrated Cedd to the episcopate. As bishop, Saint Cedd built churches and ordained priests and deacons in many places. Thus, at Bradwell-on-Sea, he built a church out of the rubble of a Roman fort, which is still standing today. He built another monastery at Tilbury, where an early Saxon immersion font that may well have been used by the saint still survives. The saint often returned to Northumbria to preach, and on one such trip in 658, he was given land for the foundation of a monastery in Lastingham in Yorkshire. This came about through the intercession of Cedd's brother Chelin, and the monastery was built by another of Cedd's brothers, Chenabel. Saint Cedd consecrated the monastery after fasting and praying for 40 days. Blessed Cedd played an important part in the Synod of Whitby in 664, which ended the schism before the Celtic and Roman churches in England. Although trained in the Celtic Church, he wholeheartedly accepted the Roman Byzantine Paschalian. He acted as an interpreter between the Celtic and Roman parties. Saint Cedd died of the plague in Lastingham on October 26, 664. On hearing of his death, some 30 monks traveled north from Bradwell-on-Sea to live near his holy relics. At first he was buried outside the monastery, but then his body was placed to the right of the altar in a new stone church dedicated to the Mother of God. Saint Egbert, abbot of Iona, was once discussing the life of Saint Cedd's brother, Saint Chad, with his friend, Saint Hybald of Hilbudstow, and said, "I know a man in this island, still in the flesh, who, when the prelate passed out of this world, saw the soul of his brother Cedd, with a company of angels descending from heaven, who, having taken his soul along with them, returned hither again." Our Holy Father Diuma, the enlightener of Middle Anglia, was of Irish origin. He was one of 4 priests, along with Saints Cedd, Betty, and Ada, who were sent by Saint Finan, Bishop of Lindisfarne, to evangelize Mercia after the baptism of King Peada. When Peada died in 654, King Oswy of Northumbria ruled Mercia for a few years, and in this period Diuma was consecrated Bishop of the Mercians and Middle Anglians by Saint Finan. He worked many miracles. He worked mainly among the Middle Anglians and died in a district called Infemmingen in the year 658. He was buried at Chadbury in Oxfordshire. The Orthodox Church celebrates the memory of Saint Cedd of Essex on October 26th and Saint Diuma of Mercia on December 7th. Holy Bishops Cedd and Diuma, pray to God for us.